AFCON genes continues for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. In fact, it's so sad that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be playing in this year AFCON 2025 in the final. Morocco knocked them out via penalty shootout 4-2. But you know what? Nigerians always look for a scapegoat, the player that they will definitely sweep under the carpet, under the bus. But trust me, who is that man that everybody are blaming for the loss against Morocco? Talking about the Ibekubo, Samuel Chukwueze, and of course, you are supporting Chelsea, and of course, you are a citizen of this great nation. Come on the 14th of January 2026 is Wonder Night. It's that night that you don't want to remember, but it is what it is. On that note, I say, welcome to Sport on Enterprise TV 7, where sport news from the four corners of the world are delivered at its best. If you are joining for the first time, please do well to follow us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. My name is John Olasukomi. Join me and let's ride together. Joining me virtually today is Dami Wealth. Dami Wealth, welcome to Sport On.
Yeah, John, it was a very, very sad night for me personally and for most Nigerians because, we were expecting a lot more. We were expecting to bring the cup home. But sadly, the old things have repeated themselves again, going into the, semi-finals, losing, taking the third place. I'm tired of it. Win or lose on Saturday, I don't care. But it is what it is.
Come on, don't even talk. I can feel you, Adami Wealth. The energy is low, but it is what it is. Not the result that we wanted, what the performance that I wanted in person. But let's start with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Super Eagles' quest for a fourth continental title at the 2025 Cup of Nations in Morocco came to an end on Wednesday, 14 January, after a 4-2 penalty shootout defeat to the host at the Prince Mole Abdullah Stadium in Rabat. Dami Wealth, before you go deeply, before we dissect Nigeria versus Morocco match, let's talk about, let me ask you this question first. Who should be blamed? Players, referee, or the coach?
Well, it's easy to mention one person, to be blamed. But football is a collective duty. It's a duty of everybody. Talking about the Nigerian players, at the end of the day, we can also call on the external factor and the referee, not blowing the way we expected him to. Not doing his job, properly. But
so many wrong calls.
Yeah, so many wrong calls, which might have also led to the disappointing performance that the Super Eagles sort of gave yesterday. The referee didn't give us a wrong. He didn't give a wrong penalty, or he didn't give a penalty to the Moroccans. There was a ball that the Moroccans were all shouting was handball. He didn't even bother to look at it. So I would say yes, he had a poor game. Gave a lot of wrong calls, but it wasn't 100% bad from the referee. At the end of the day, the bulk of the fault was stopped at the Super Eagles desk, from the coach himself to the players to Chukwueze, who, you see, it's easy to lay a blame, you understand? I don't want to blame Chukwueze directly. I don't want to, pinpoint him as the man to take all the blames, because even the coach also have his own blame. But Chukwueze could have actually done better. That is what I've been saying since yesterday. He could have done better. You could see even after he lost the penalty, he just kicked the ball away. It was like Chukwueze wasn't happy for the fact that the coach, Eric Shell, didn't start him or didn't bring him in early, which I felt the coach himself also has a fault in that. Looking at how the game was going, it's not easy to be a coach. I understand. He's there, the pressure, over 60,000 fans shouting at him and everything. But Chukwueze should have been actually brought on earlier on to stretch the Moroccan defense. When Musi Simon came in, we had some crosses into the box 18. So Chukwueze could have actually done better, putting pressure on Nazem Mazrui, who was playing off his position. Mazrui was, we all know him as a right back. He's playing, he's playing as a left back. And with Chukwueze there, who is a proper left footer, a traditional left footer who can actually take on defenders, he would have actually had a good time against Mazrui. Even if he probably is not successful at dribbling Mazrui or scoring goals or even scoring, he would have taken a lot of fouls from Mazrui. And those fouls would have resulted in free kicks. And we have good players that are very good, in the air, talking about Victor Osimhen, and even Akko Adams and, the defenders. So, but the coach made his mistake, but Chukwueze could have actually done better. So I would say the blame is for everybody.
Okay.
Both the coach, the players, the Chukwueze himself, and also the referee. The blame is just all around. And the NFF as well.
Still talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Where did they get it wrong? Talking about, I know you can't easily change your winning tactics. Your formation. He's been playing this formation and has been working for him. And also, do you also think that the absence of the captain, talking about Ndidi, affected the team against Morocco?
Definitely. Let me start from your first question. That
where did they get
should
it
the
wrong?
coach have used another formation or change his tactics? The coach himself, Eric Schell, I think after the game against the game leading to the Algerian game, after the game against Mozambique, he was being interviewed in a press conference, and he said he plays his tactics, his formation, depending on the team that he wants to play. You understand? So I expected something a bit different. Fine. Starting the game yesterday, I wasn't expecting him to actually totally change. I was also thinking that which leads to the second question you asked, with the absence of Wilfred Ndidi, maybe we could have actually, done something different, because it was clear from even the other games that Morocco wasn't going to play through the midfield.
Yes,
they are more of, they do more of defending in the midfield and play through the flanks. El Zazuli used to be a player that was regarded by Barcelona as, a very top player one time like that, if you remember. I don't know where he plays his football right now, club football. The Zazuli on the left, Brian Diaz, who has been, for me, I think the best player of the tournament so far. And Achraf Hakimi, who has been back in like 2 games now, playing behind Brian Diaz on that right. So definitely, and you have Nazo Mazrui. These are top players playing for top clubs in Europe. Brian Diaz, Real Madrid. Achraf Hakimi plays for PSG. Mazrui for Manchester United. El Zazuli, I don't know what club he plays for now, but he used to be a very, very top talent, starting. So they were going to play through the flanks. And I expected that we should have actually marked them on the flanks as well, because Wilfred Ndidi missing that game means that we were going to lack fluidity from the midfield. Wilfred Ndidi gives you a different taste compared to Rafael Onyedika. I think I mentioned it yesterday. Onyedika is very good with tackles, is very good with hold-up play. But when you talk about being fluid, being able to drive through blockades in the midfield, lane passes, Ndidi has all it takes to actually, become an AM. Sometimes, even at Leicester City, if you watch, he was being played as an attacking midfielder at one point.
Yes, of course.
At Leicester City. So that means he has the quality to actually drive into the box, dictate play. But we're missing him. Maybe the coach could have, I'm not the coach and I didn't know the pressure he was in, but maybe we could have actually started with, because I was thinking maybe we'll start with Rafael Onyeka, then play this guy, what's his name? Fisayo Dele Bashiru, who was brought on to play on the wings, which was a very, very totally bad call from the coach.
I think Eric Chek got it wrong by playing Fisayo Dele Bashiru from the flank.
From the flanks. He's not a winger. He's an attacking midfielder. He's a number 10. You understand? We using 2 number 10s yesterday would have actually helped. Alex Iwobi and Fisayo Dele Bashiru in that midfield. Maybe you change the formation to like a 4-3-3, something like that. Or maybe 4-4-2. We can even play 4-4-2. Alex Iwobi and Rafael Onyeka in that midfield. Fisayo Dele Bashiru and Ademola Lookman, maybe a 4-2-2-2. It reminds me of the former coach of United, who is the current coach of Austria, talking about Rangnick. a 4-2-2 formation, 4-2-2-2 formation might have actually worked. But I mean, all these are, crying after the beans has been spilled already. The coach went with his favorite formation, still playing his 4-3-1-2 formation, which didn't allow us, because that left the creativity to Alex Iwobi alone. And it was clear that the Moroccans had studied Alex Iwobi. They made sure that they blocked spaces. If you look at it, they were not pressing Alex Iwobi yesterday. If you watch, whenever he holds the ball, they just leave him. But they made sure that they closed spaces. So there was nobody to pass to. He was making more of side passes yesterday, passing to the side, passing to Semi Ajayi or Calvin Bassey. He wasn't able to make those penetrating passes as he used to, in the previous games. So maybe, he could have actually played someone on the flanks, like I said, Chukwueze on the right, change the tactics in the second half. Now that you've seen that. A friend of mine posted something on status, on his WhatsApp status, pardon, and he said he was really angry at the coach. He's not really a football, person like that. But I was like, this coach doesn't know. He's not a world class. He's not this. I said, of course, he's not world class. Even world class coaches miss it sometimes. So I want to cut Erichel some slack, but he could have actually done a lot better.
All right, thank you for that one. Damn well, still on the Super Eagles of Nigeria. What's the way forward? Nigeria will play in Egypt in the third place.
Well, the way forward is to look forward, basically. We are playing against Egypt in the third place. I want to see new brand of players. There was a player that was called up to the Super Eagles, talking about Ebenezer Ake-Somiru, leading to this Nations Cup. I took time to go study him. I watched a lot of his clips at Pisa, even from when he was in Nigeria here. And the guy is very decent. Like, he's a very good midfielder. He's box to box, He had not had a minute in this tournament. I would like to see him against Egypt because these are the future of the Super Eagles. I would like to see Salim Fago. I want to see new players. Maybe Victor Osimhen should be placed on the bench, although he would want to start because probably can get 1 or 2 goals to surpass Brahim Diaz as the highest goal scorer of the AFCON, But I would like to see new players. Igor Ogbu didn't really have a chance. Let's see new brand of Super Eagles. And the NFF should not make a mistake of sacking Erichel. Erichel might have lost that game. The only clear game that Erichel have lost since he became the coach of Super Eagles was that game against Egypt. The friendly match before this tournament. That was the only game that I would say he lost in 90 minutes, which many people have even said that there were wrong calls and, Ojuru in Yoruba terms in that game. The other games were Congo and this one, which were through penalties. Maybe he should work on his penalty game with his players. So he shouldn't be sacked. He's a fantastic manager. I've been impressed with him already. I love the way he has utilized his team. I love the way he has used these guys and everything. So I would say let's stick with him. Let's see how things go at the end of the day. Let's motivate these guys. Do away with some guys that are not meant to be in the team, and hopefully, maybe miraculously, FIFA can rule in favor of Nigeria. Talking about the World Cup.
Come on, don't talk about. Come on. Come on, don't talk about. Let's just leave that one for now. Let's face this AFCON and, of course, the future of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, I'm not really happy because the Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be playing the final, but it is what it is. Like you rightfully said, let them stick with Eric Chell. At least he must have learned 1 or 2 things from this AFCON 2025 in Morocco. All right, let's talk about the other games. Of course, what a fantastic performance from Senegal. Senegal defeated Egypt 1-0, courtesy of that goal from Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane once again knocked out Mo Salah. Damn me well. Sadio Mane will always do Sadio Mane.
Well, Sadio Mane scored a very wonderful goal from the edge of the box 18 towards the end of the second half of that game. I think it was just about 13 minutes to the end of the game, and he scored that wonderful goal, which was a very exciting one. But That game was boring. I saw almost 90 minutes of the game. It was very cagey. The Egyptians were more of packing the bus. They couldn't really do anything against the Senegalese. When you have Mohamed Salah and Omar Mamouche, striking for you, and no decent pass was given to these two. I'm talking about no decent pass. And for the Egyptians, I think there are some old legs that need to just be forced to retire from that team. What is Mahmoud Trezeguet still doing with the Egyptian national team? I've been noticing him since over a year or 2 years now. That guy is washed. Credit to him, he has done well in the past with his runs, with his shots and everything. But nowadays, I think he plays for Al Ahly nowadays. There should be better players in Al Ahly or in the Egyptian national team that could be used instead of... Trezeguet was subbed in the first half. He didn't do anything in that game. And apart from Trezeguet, I think the Egyptians also need to work more on their midfield because the Senegalese actually dominated everything. They are not better than the Nigerians. I tweeted yesterday during that game that if Nigeria were to meet either of Egypt or Senegal, would have been in the final, quite easily. Would have played our game and been in the final. But unfortunately for us, we had to meet the host country Morocco that stopped Spain and Portugal from scoring. Come on.
Number one team in Africa. Come on, don't talk about it.
They are the most stubborn team and the most informed team in Africa. So we can't beat ourselves too much for losing against them via penalty. Even though we could have actually done better, but it is what it is. So, that game was a very, it was more of a Senegalese game, and they won it at the end of the day.
All right, just the way Morocco dominated the Super Eagles of Nigeria from 0 minutes to 120 minutes. But it is what it is.
Would you say dominate? Did they really dominate? Yes, they had more possession.
Of course, Super Eagles of Nigeria going into that match, damn well, we have scored 14 goals, and we struggled to get just one goal on target. They dominated. That's no doubt about it. The stats are there. We saw the game. It was all about Morocco. It was one-sided game for me. I don't know for you, because it was Morocco every time. Morocco there.
I think the Super Eagles actually controlled the game well. Shout out to Calvin Bassey.
From the midfield, defense, or from the attack. Come on, we had Ademola Lukman scored goals in this tournament. Akon Adams scored goals. Victor James Osimhen, Jagu scored goals, but they failed to have just on target against Morocco. Come on, what are we talking about? They dominated Super Eagles of Nigeria. We were defending.
We played against a Moroccan team that is the best in Africa. They are 11th in the world.
That's what I'm saying. We played against
number one. Wouldn't expect the Super Eagles to dominate them in the first place.
Damn it, what? They are the host country. We played in front of 65,000 capacity in a stadium where they are used to. They are at home. They have the officials, backing them. But that does not mean we should not at least let it be like 70. Let it be like 60-40 or 55-45. Oh, come on!
What did the possession end? What was the possession at the end of the day?
I can't really say for now. But with what I saw,
it wasn't as if the Super Eagles were not actually still giving a fight, even in the midfield yesterday.
They tried their best.
It wasn't a packing the bus. Nigeria, we were not packing the bus. We were coming out to play, even though they were getting more of the chances. They had more of the chance. Don't forget that in the first half, Morocco themselves, I'm not sure they had a shot on target in the first half against the Super Eagles.
But they
didn't have a shot on target. And again, the referee yesterday gave them a lot of spaces. He was giving many wrong calls, many free kicks. Kudos to the defense of the Super Eagles. Calvin Bassey did so well, even with the yellow card, rubbish yellow card that he was given.
And it's so sad.
Calvin Bassey for me was the man of the match yesterday. They were giving them a lot of free kicks, a lot of fouls, and so many things. Even when we were trying to attack, there was one on Ademola Lukman. His shoulder was held, he was pulled back, and the referee gave a foul against Ademola Lukman. So many calls. There was a chance that Nigeria had, and the referee actually called for the tackle, and the Moroccan player kicked the ball away, and the referee didn't give him anything. I mean, everything was against the Super Eagles yesterday. So I think we controlled the game well. You know, in the attack we could have done better, but from the midfield to the defense, I would say we did well. Osai Samuel, Yemechi, Semi Ajayi was shaky from the beginning, you know, but he later composed himself. Calvin Bassey, Onyek, I think they all did well in that midfield. You see, for me, dominating games, or let me say, controlling games, not dominating this time around. To control a game doesn't mean you should have 80% to 20% possession. You might have 80% while I have 20%, but I'm controlling the game because you are playing according to what I want you to play, you know, and hit you on the counter or find a way to. That was what Super Eagles was playing yesterday, but the attack was nowhere to be found. The coach didn't make, you know, enough substitutions, the right substitutions in the attack to actually give us a chance. So I would say we had a fair game. I wouldn't say they dominated totally.
Okay. All right. Once again, congratulations to the boys. They tried. They did their best. But it is what it is. Morocco are in the final of this year. I mean, AFCON. Talking about 2020.
And I hope they lose.
Yeah. Come on, don't talk about that. Well, all right. Away from the camp of the Super Eagles, let's move straight to Europe. In the Carabao Cup, Arsenal and Chelsea manager Liam Rosenio's first home game as they moved closer to Wembley with a 3-2 win in the League Cup semi-final first leg on Wednesday, 14 January 2026. I think, Damiwell, you said something about it when we were doing the preview of this game. You gave Arsenal, the chance.
Of course, I knew Arsenal were going to defeat Chelsea. Chelsea, you know, they have a new manager who is still trying to understand the team. You know, it came at a time where Chelsea were not actually on form. You know, even Maresca was a bit struggling with the boys, but he knows how to bring out performance from them. If it was Maresca, maybe he would have done better. I'm not saying that Rosenau is not a good coach, but this is a team that is quite disjointed. It's coming, you know, into a team that they have some players who are injured coming back. Caicedo wasn't even in that game yesterday. You know, these are key men for Chelsea. So I expected them to lose, which they lost. They fought back. They almost, you know, got an equalizer at the end of the day. But, you know, Arsenal had the firepower. And I will take something from what William Saliba said. You know, he said he's tired of coming second every time. You know, Arsenal almost getting the victory. And, you know, he's just happy that they finally, you know, got a win. And he wants to. He said they're fighting for every trophy. You know, when I saw the lineup yesterday, I was surprised. You know, Arsenal, Arteta didn't bench. Apart from maybe Timber didn't start the game. Timber didn't start. And I think Gabriel didn't start the game, talking about the defender. I mean, he basically used most of their key players. Saka, who I was surprised that Saka started the game. You know, I was expecting Madueke to start, but Saka started. Saka, who has been an injury-prone player of late, he started the game. You know, Martinelli, even Gyökeres, who is a major starter in the Premier League, started the game for them. That shows intention. And like I've always said, Arteta needs to win a trophy this season, even if it is not the Premier League or the Champions League. If he wins the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, it gives him and the boys that, you know, that energy, that impetus, that ginger to go for better trophies next season. But if you keep taking these trophies for granted, like he had been doing in seasons past, playing, you know, periphery players, if you take it for granted and you lose it, then you lose the big one. Players who mentally, they won't be okay. So winning that yesterday was a very good one for me. And I mean, let's see the second leg is still there, right? So let's see what will happen in the second leg. And if they are going to be meeting either, I would like to see Arsenal versus Manchester City in the final. That would be a very epic one.
Arsenal all the way. And of course, Timber started from the left back, Ben White from the right back, played both Saliba and of course, Gabriel. Kepa Zabalaga in between the stick for them. They used literally almost all their starting level. Odegaard was there, Zubimendi was there, Trossard, mention them. These are first 11 players for Arsenal, and they are not taking anything lightly this season as far as football is concerned in England. All right, congratulations to Arteta once again for winning that first leg at Stamford Bridge, 3-2 in favor of Arsenal. That is how much we can take on Sports on Enterprise TV 7. Endeavor to subscribe and click notification bell to get notified of all alerts. Follow us across our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Like, share, and engage on all content with our website at www.enterprisetv.com for all the news you can use, the inclusives and the live updates. Dami Welt has been given on the show today. Dami Welt.
Yeah, thank you very much. Real Madrid also lost yesterday. Maybe they are the new Manchester United. Let's see. But thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been a very wonderful one.
All right. Thank you for your contribution once again. My name remains John Olasukomi. See you next time.